Hello to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska and this is Poland Daily Culture. Today more Poland Daily literature because we're still talking about The Doll by Słanisław Prus. I would say we could talk about this for ages because it's such a complex piece of literature. But here with me is Julia Wilde, a PhD candidate at Warsaw University, a specialist in literature and a poet herself a little bit. Are you Rzecki a little bit? Like, have you some parts of Rzecki in yourself?
Yes, I think so. I think so, though I'm trying to go towards Wokulski, let's say, and not to, focus on all those illusions and the way I would like the world to be. But I love Rzecki, and he's my favorite character. And I must say that I'm not a crier. I hardly ever cry. But whenever he dies, either in book or in the TV series, I always cry over him because it's such a wonderful character, and it's fascinating because the scene of his death is so meaningful because, well, the new shop owner doesn't trust him anymore, and he asks him to do something in the shop in the evening to create this beautiful window decoration. But he leaves another clerk in the shop that is hidden in the shop to watch if Rzecki isn't stealing. And Rzecki is so outraged and so moved that he dies from a heart attack.
And just the fact that the book was, that the shop was sold is because of Izabela, because she is the one who forces, I would say, or encourage or demands the fact that Wokulski sold the shop in order to buy land, not still be a merchant, but be a landowner. Because, of course, in the society, even though being a landowner doesn't bring so much profit, it is better seen by the aristocrats. And Wokulski wants to be seen in the best way by Izabela.
It's fascinating how the women are fascinated by him and how they want him simply, and a very interesting and beautiful women that would be much better match for him, but he's so crazy about Izabela, and he set his heart on getting her, that he cannot appreciate it, and he cannot have a fulfilling love life with any of these women.
Because that's interesting. Does he really want a reality, or he wants a ideal? He wants a person who takes him to a different world, and that's what Izabela represents, a different world, which he in fact would like to be and come, even though he's so down to earth, even though he worked so hard on so many elements. For example, when he lives to Paris, he could stay there. He could have he could try to find a French woman, for example, so he could like kind of get out of the circle which he caught himself up. But Izabela calls and he comes back on his wings.
Yes, I think that's the moment when everybody just sighs and says, I can't believe it. Why are you doing this, Wokulski? And I think it's very realistic, because I think that most of us have had this situation, or at least met someone who was coming back to this toxic person just because they were so infatuated that they couldn't resist this temptation to try once again to see them. And I also loved the fact that he goes every time he knows that Izabela will be in Łazienki, he goes there, and just to just not ahead, right? Just to greet her, just to see her, and not even talk to her. And it's enough to make him, maybe not enough, but, well, it's worth all the effort to go there, just to see her, and just to, smile at her, or
in this element, Wokulski is totally not realistic. Yeah. Like, because he should eventually, put himself together and go find a beautiful woman in Paris.
I think the problem is that he has never been in love. before. It's his first love.
Might be true, because
and he is a middle-aged man who loves for the first time. And on one hand, he is a great positivist. He's a brilliant man, very, very rich, very successful, very intelligent, and whatnot. But at the same time, on this emotional level, he experiences everything that a teenage boy would experience. And he realizes that he's stupid. And sometimes he says, I'm so stupid, but he cannot resist it. And it's so, I think it's very realistic in this sense, when you take a look at this side of it, because he was always so focused on struggling, uprisings and his survival, because he was poor and he wanted to learn, and he ignored the girls. And suddenly he has this firm position. He is successful, he has money, he doesn't need to struggle anymore. And then he sees this woman, and there is this space in his life to fall in love.
And he's also struggling in this different way, because he's becoming better and better for her, and also financially. And even in there, here comes an element of education in English. I would say the doll is a huge call to learn English.
Yes.
Because in the times when French was still the
dominating,
language,
yes,
dominating as a lingua franca. Of course, he spoke Russian as well because of the Russian Empire. And he learns English. He takes lessons. Being 45 years old man, he sits down and do the grammar exercises just to learn some English for her.
Yes, because, and this is terrible for me, when I see how she just humiliates him, because she is talking to her aunt in English, because she thinks that he's such a dumb, uneducated person that probably he doesn't speak English. And she's right, but she's speaking English in front of him just to humiliate him and to show him that he's no one. But she doesn't appreciate his ambitions. And yes, he really sits down and starts this self-education. Then he also hires a tutor and so on and so forth. But finally, it turns out that he understands things.
Yes, and that's I would say the most popular scene in Polish literature, one of the ones. The train going to Krakow, I think, and that there is Izabela sitting in
her suitor Starski.
And her suitor Starski, which is also her cousin.
Yes. Right.
And they're talking about their romance, and they're teasing, and they're basically all the gossiping about Wokulski in a horrible way, and he understands.
Yes, and it's so painful to read it and to watch it, and it's just heartbreaking that he's shaking, he's sweating, and he understands everything, and then he makes this little, let's say, intrigue to leave the train and to let them go on their own, and then he says, "Farewell, Izabela, farewell," and it's so satisfying in a way, because this terrible woman sees that he understood everything,
and that she's so, I would say, with closed eyes. But that's a huge price of saying that learning languages is, of course, an eye-opener. It might save you from very bad match as well. And Wokulski learned English, and it broke his heart. But thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.